Okay, so I'm going to add a part two to this because it's so interesting. This is why it's so important to sit down and speak out what it is you're holding in, whether it's a therapist or a great friend or a video like this. I find that that's always been the most healing thing for me is just to sit and talk about it because when you talk about it, it's like I had heard somebody say this before. It's like when you turn on the faucet or like what's it called outside, the garden hose, and you turn it on at first and it's like, just kind of it's all just priming itself and the water just comes out, kind of slow at first and it might be like the dirty yucky water at first and then it starts to have some movement and the clean water starts to come and it starts to flow. And that's how it feels when we sit down to talk. It's like, we just kind of get things out and we're not really in our hearts, we're more in our heads. And then all of a sudden we reach this state of flow where everything just comes through us instead of us thinking about it and trying to form the thoughts. We actually become a channel for truth. And I really like that actually. So what I had ended up saying in the last video was how it's okay to argue with people. But because I had never been taught that, like and I'm not I am never judging my parents. It's just time to shine a light of truth on our past so that we can heal it. If we're walking around pretending everything was okay and everything is okay when it's not, we're never going to heal. We have to open that shit up. We have to open that fucking can up, all of those cans up, and look inside and see what's in there and really just share it and spill it all out and just be like, it's okay. We all had fucked up childhoods in some way. We all had parents that were struggling. Like, fuck. Everybody was struggling to make ends meet. Everyone was struggling to figure shit out. Everyone was struggling. So now it's time to be like, yeah, that's what happened. And that's why I act the way I do. And so today it just kind of feels like this freedom for me to speak about, yeah, I really was never able to speak my truth. I was always a feisty little shit. And I always tried to argue back, and it never ended up well. And I was always shown very clearly that we're not supposed to talk back ever, right? But that's actually not true. That's control. And controlling someone never works because then they turn into a caged animal. And nowadays, kids are much smarter than we were in many ways. And I feel like they just know. Like, they just know that it's not okay to be controlled. And I think that's a wonderful fucking thing. But as a parent, it's also a very difficult thing because our kids, I don't know how it's working and how it's happening, but our kids actually know that it's not okay to control someone and it's not okay to just say, well, do it because I'm your parent. That's not fair and it's not okay. That's not healthy communication. But a lot of us do it because that's what we were taught and that's what we think we're supposed to do. We think we're supposed to control our kids. We think we're supposed to you know, earn respect just because they should respect us because we're their parents. I feel like we now need to learn from our kids and be able to give them the opportunity to form their own opinions, their own thoughts, to speak up when they don't think something is right. And I have a really hard time with that because I have a really hard time with that. And I'm really sitting with this because, you know, I was brought up to never argue, to, you don't have a say in what goes on, that there's a parent in the household that is the boss. And if you don't like it, it doesn't fucking matter. There was never communication about, what do you think about the rules? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And again, I'm not blaming anybody. That's just how it was in that generation. And then I ended up in a marriage where I never argued. I never spoke up. I was never, I never felt like I could. And I'm not blaming anybody. This is my journey. This isn't about anybody else. This is what I'm learning about myself. So for whatever reason, I didn't feel that I was important enough to have a say. I didn't feel like anyone would ever love me if I argued with them. And so I never stood up for myself. So I repressed it all. And I really don't doubt that that's why I had so many cancers. Because I feel like I had so much fucking hate for this person that I just stored it all. Instead of saying it, instead of arguing, instead of telling him what a stupid fucking dick he was, I just thought about it over and over and over and stewed about it. And I guess what I'm seeing now is that's what I'm still doing with people that aren't actually dicks. People that are just strong men. I have a really hard time with that. So I'm learning. And I'm willing to be open to being wrong all the time, because I am most of the time. Actually, with my son, I'm probably wrong 99% of the time. So what I'm realizing through making these videos is, I get it. When somebody argues with me, I think it's the end of the world. Because I never learned how to fight and argue when I was young. And that's why I keep getting this intuitive sense that it's actually really healthy for families to argue. And it's great for our kids to learn how to argue, because then we learn how to put the pieces back together. We learn how to apologize. We learn how to regroup and communicate and come back together. And I have this very strong fear that when there's an argument, that I'm going to get punished, rejected, neglected, whatever it is. That I'm just a horrible person. I'm a horrible mom. And it's not true. It's actually not true. So I realize that when I argue with someone, it will ruin my whole day. It will ruin my whole week. It just throws me into this spiral of fear and regret and resentment and anxiety. And I stew about it in my mind. And I worry about it. And it just seems so big. Like, it seems so big. And I'm talking this out because it's not even true. It's my fears from my past showing up. That it's like, as soon as there's an argument, it literally feels like the end of the fucking world for me. So here I am, speaking this out, getting some clarity, and realizing that arguments are not bad. They're not wrong. It's not the end of the world. It's actually healthy to let it out. And I know now, going forward, I'm going to carry this as a truth. And like I always say, the truth will set you free, but the truth also hurts. This was a hard one to get to, but I feel like it's just, like I said, becoming a real deep truth today. So that's the work that I do, is I see truth and I apply it in my life, and that's what I'm here to help you do also. So thank you for listening. I will talk to you tomorrow.